To Freelancer Codex podcast. Your host, Steven, and co-hosts Mike, Devon, and JD are all set. Join us and tweet your questions at Freelancer Codex. Find us on Facebook at Freelancer Codex, or send emails to freelancercodex@gmail.com. Strap into your javelins, and let's drop in.
Welcome, freelancers, to episode 95 of the Freelancer Codex podcast, the longest running Anthem podcast on the internet. I'm your host, Steve, along with my three co-hosts, Michael, Devon, and JD. We're also here with chat. Phaedron's in chat, hanging out with us. Phaedron, we haven't seen you in such a long time since you had a baby. Are you doing okay? I hope you're doing okay. We're glad to have you with us, Phaedron. So, guys, it has been a whopping 41 days since last EA Play 2019. That was kind of the official announcement release, I guess you could say, for the PTS that was going out. So it's been a long time since we've had the PTS. It doesn't feel that long, but when you look at it, the PTS has been out for a really long time. And at first, I thought that they were going to kind of do like, hey, we're going to do 3 days here, we're going to do 3 days here, kind of focus test these things a little more. And it really hasn't been that way. Devin, has it surprised you that it's kind of just been open the entire time?
I mean, it did at first, but then I was like, well, I mean, everything else about this game changes on a regular basis, so why would they stick to what they announced in the first place? No, I mean, it's. I preferred that they leave it open. I mean, I guess if they had more direction and focus, it would be good. Also, they could say, hey, we're going to open it for this day, and these are the things we want you to test. And then you could actually have direction, whereas now it's open all the time. They update it. You can look at what they updated. They don't tell you what they need you to test or what they are having problems with. Besides, I mean, they have the known errors, and so I mean, you can try and do those things, but there is no focus or direction of what they want us to test. So I think they're
that really would make it a whole lot different, wouldn't it? If they would say, hey, this is what's here.
Yeah.
Please check this out for us. Try these guns in this meta. Try this.
Yeah,
that
I think they're just missing out on the opportunity, to have focused testing by a lot of people in the PTS. Is my opinion.
And I think you guys are exactly right, because as it stands now, we have to go out and earn the new weapons that are coming out. So in my mind, it would be easier if they said, hey, here's all the new weapons that we've made. These are, the base stats. These are the base main inscriptions. If you go and test these, we'll know what is balanced and what is not balanced. And right now, it's just kind of like, all right, if you get it, it's like, well, I don't know if this gun is balanced because I haven't gotten that gun or I haven't received that item. And the way it's structured currently, because they're releasing all the different war chests for melee weapons, components, and gear and weapons on a different day, you kind of have to be grinding that much in order to earn all those. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't give you a lot of opportunity to say, okay, if I want to test the Storm today, it's like, well, if I want to test the Colossus or the Ranger or the Interceptor, you have to play the PTS so many more times in order to earn those weapons that it's not a great incentive for me to be like, to branch out to something other than the Storm. So I stick with what I know.
But Steve, not only incentive for you, but it doesn't seem like it's doing the studio any benefit to give you this thing to play with and not tell you how they would like you to try to play with it to see what's working and what's not. Shut up, Devin.
No, I think your method would work, Steven, if it was focus testing, right? So if there was a test where it's like, hey, we want you guys to test these new weapons, and they could do that, But right now, the way they're doing it is just they put stuff out there, and then they just track the data, what works, what doesn't work, and so it's just kind of like shooting from the hip, basically. And I mean, in one way, they're getting data of, okay, how often do these drop? Is the drop rate enough for these? That kind of stuff. That's what I'm guessing they're getting now, but. Yeah, I mean, if they had more focused sessions, like, okay, we're going to give you all these weapons, but that would be more specific builds that they would have to make, which would be more work, is my guess. And so they're just like, we'll just keep working on this, PTS like we would as this is the Cataclysm. So we'll give them everything, and then we'll slowly put features in, and hope they figure out what those features are.
And granted, this is the first time they're doing a PTS, so they have a great opportunity to learn from everyone's feedback. So hopefully they take that in the future ones. It's like, hey, here's all the stuff we want to test, and and focus it down a little bit more so we can help them better. Because currently it's like, well, I guess let's just go for the high score because there's a leaderboard right now, and I guess we can test things along the way. So sorry,
Right.
JD, we talk a lot about the Cataclysm because that's what's kind of new, and you don't have access to it. So sorry about that. So at the beginning of the episode, I kind of want to know what you guys are working on in the game, whether that is your Champion of Tarsus reputation grind, whether you're into the PTS or what else you're doing. We'll start with you, JD, because you don't have access to the sweet PTS that we do.
Yeah. So I'm still going for gold. I'm also working on what is it, the Challenge of Might, where they have you kill however many of each enemy type. I'm finding out that
You're
there's not
still
a
doing
lot
that
of.
one?
Apparently I am. I thought I was done, but apparently there are far less outlaws in the strongholds than you do. Like it's plenty of Dominion, plenty of scars, but outlaws are really hard to come across. Apparently, I only had like 600 out of 2,500 for them killed, so I guess I gotta up that, and I'm now at 30,000 out of 150,000, so I'm about 20% there towards getting gold. I don't think I'll have it by the time the Cataclysm starts, but I'm still gonna try my best.
When's the Cataclysm start, JD? Do you know something we don't know?
No, I don't. But if we'll get to it later.
October?
Show, but
Is that when it's
but
starting?
if we're in the pre-Cataclysm stuff, it might be starting in a couple of weeks. So who knows?
So someone responded to Devon's post. Devon posts our show on the Reddit all the time, and someone was like, "Hey, do you guys remember when the other three hosts looked at Devon like he was crazy when he said the Cataclysm was going to come out in August?" And it's like, oh, I mean, and I think we were all just really disappointed.
Regardless
No, I
of
mean,
how even a blind squirrel finds a fixed clock twice. What is it?
What?
How does it go?
I really like you're saying, Mike. I think you should keep workshopping that. Like, keep
A
going with
blind-
it right here.
On your own
clock-
time. All right, you can upgrade your
So-
conversation topics on your own time.
The squirrely rocket
Right,
raccoon.
so,
Devon is the brightest knife in the crayon box.
so Devon, what have you been working on in your Anthem career this last week?
Yeah, so this week, so I haven't played the regular live service Anthem or live game. We can't really call it a live service currently, but
Just call it Anthem for now.
yeah, I haven't played Anthem since the PTS came out. I only log in if there's a piece of cosmetic item that I really like. And there's only been one or two of those
You haven't played the actual game for 41 days. You've been PTS the entire time.
the entire time. And that's it.
Wow.
So I just there's no reason for me to play the regular game. I mean, I'm not chasing gold. I'm still like I logged in just a minute ago just to see if the server's working because they were one of our Discord users was having trouble on Xbox, so I logged in to see if there were the same problems on PC. And I was like, let me go see where I'm at, and I'm at like 30-something thousand on that one. I don't know. I was like, okay, whatever. And I was like, do I want to play this? No, not really. I'd rather go play the PTS. There's just a lot of cool things in the PTS. I really like the latest update. Do you want me to talk about that stuff now, or when are we talking about that in a minute?
We'll go in a minute. So you've
Okay.
been playing PTS, Mike. What have you been working on?
PTS. I have not been in the game in a while. Actually, I'm kind of in the same boat with Devon. Pretty much the same kind of things. We're doing Cataclysm runs. We're doing just playing with the new stuff, the new guns. I think mostly because it feels fresh, it feels new. It's not just the same old stuff, and so I'm kind of right there with Devon. Just kind of haven't really been in the game for a while. So
Huh.
So that's it. Yeah.
So I've actually been going back and forth between both of them. I've been doing the PTS and I've been doing the actual games. I've still been making the map for the Cataclysm runs, just mapping out where all the bonus orbs are, where all the orb plates are, where the Valkyries spawn. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there, so that's kind of taking some time. But I also really want to work on getting my legendary freelancer achievement done. And in order to do that, you have to achieve all the rank 1 weapon challenges, and I went through and I did that. I ended up with the last one with the grenade launcher, which is not fun to use at all. Like, I haven't used a grenade launcher until this one, and I had to do this 3 times to kill 50 people. The grenade launchers aren't fun. Maybe I'm just haven't gotten a good one yet, but they just
You're doing it wrong.
And it's very possible that I am doing it wrong. I think the most interesting one is the one where you can shoot it out and you can detonate it on your own. But that seems very hard to set up if you're kind of in open spaces. Maybe I just haven't played around with it enough yet. So any Colossus mains out there that have been using grenade launchers, write in, let us know what I'm doing wrong. But yeah, that just wasn't very fun. It was like a grind to get that done.
The combat's a little too fast for the place and detonate ones to really be viable. In my experience, it's the ones that detonate on impact that are the most helpful, because it's not usually I forget which one it is, but there's one of them where, I mean, at least you're doing splash damage when you're detonating on impact, but sometimes you'll just barely miss a target, and then you'll just end up, depending on the geometry, bouncing off in the total opposite direction of the enemy. It's just
pro tip for anyone that hasn't done that, I actually did the legendary missions, got these all, and just set it down to easy. And just looking at enemies on easy, they just end up dying. But there's so many of them in the legendary missions that you get them done really, really quick. So I discovered that on when I was on the last round of them. So pro tip, if you want to get those done, go ahead and finish them. So I got all that done. The only thing I'm lacking is the expedition challenge, and in order to do that, I'm still lacking. So I've got 21 to 25 Scar intel. I've got 20 to 25 outlaw histories, 13 to 25 Dominion intel. The Arcanist archives, I have 8 of 25. Sentinel archives, I have 6 of 25. The runes, I have 36 of 50. And then I've got 19 of 40 just notes out in Bastion that I have to collect. And I'm like, I look at these numbers and I'm like, do I really want to do this?
I really want to do this? Well, and is it even set up that way? Is it just set up to you get that achievement when you get it? I mean, because really, if you're set out to do that, that's like a lot. That's an investment. That's like over a holiday break or something.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been taking me a while to do it. So I finally printed it off a map. There's a map online that has the locations of everything. So I'm just going to go through region per region and just check these off the box. And it's really nice that they added the question marks to the compass so you can do this easier. But it's also sucks that they added the down javelin parts as question marks also, because those appear everywhere, it seems like. And you're like, oh, here's something I haven't gotten. It's like, nope, it's just another part. So, I mean, Bastion is big. Like, flying around it and being able to master flight like I am, like learning where every river is, every waterfall, and every time it rains.
That's the best part of the game, mastering flight. I love it.
That is my favorite part right now. So I'm going to become a master of flight. I'm going to find
Never going to let it go. All right.
Never gonna let
I'm not going to let it go.
Let it sear into your soul.
All right. So that's what we've been doing. So appreciate everyone. If you have stuff that you guys are doing also that you want to say, hey, I'm working on this or I'm working on this, write in, let us know. We can discuss it on the show. All right. So a little bit of housekeeping here. You can always email the show at freelancercodex@gmail.com. If you have questions, comments, criticisms, you can do that. We'll read them on the show. Be nice, please.
Or we won't, because you know what? We don't need that negativity in our life.
That's true. I guess we don't. So, or you can call us and leave us a voicemail at 505-386-7917. So, speaking of criticism, there's one thing I wanted to address. So I was talking with a lot of people on Twitter. I like to put out a lot of tweets and people give feedback, and a lot of people are like, hey, I really want this game to be good. Someone wrote and said, hey, I want this game to be good, right? And generally, you can tell when someone is trolling you on Twitter or they're just, trying to be that person. I'm pretty good at sussing that out. And a lot of people have an honest desire for the game to be good, right? People want that. People want Anthem to be good. I want Anthem to be good, and I want it to be fun. So someone that likes the game wrote back and said, Anthem is good. If you can't see that, you're an obvious troll. So, like, the negativity coming from both sides of the aisle here when it comes to Anthem kind of frustrates me. Like, we all want the game to be good. If you enjoy the game, like, don't attack people that want it to be better than it is. I want it to be better than it is. I don't think it helps anyone, like, for either side to be attacking each other for what they want in the game. I mean, obvious trolls, just ignore them, just block them, whatever, or whatever you do. If you want to go hunt trolls, you go do that. You do you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But, let's try to be better to each other, especially those that are sticking with the game and are going to be advocates for the game in the long run. I mean, it's okay if people have criticisms of the game. That it doesn't mean that that's inherently negative that you have a criticism. I mean, we talk about not being an echo chamber of positivity on the show, and we're definitely not when Devon and Mike are on the show anyway. So just yeah, I mean,
it's also important. It's also important to call things what they are, right?
Keep it real.
Because the game, like right now, it's in a spot where it's not like it's struggling. I mean, not that it's not fun, but there's some good things to it. But again, call it what it is. Like it needs help. It needs work. That's why there's a PTS. I mean, that's why there's people out working on it. So like don't be so to either side, I think is my point.
Don't be so defensive, I guess.
Well, and to just to go off your point, Steve, like you don't need to go to one side or the other. This game isn't going to win Game of the Year currently. But it's also not total, garbage disposal fodder either. So just call it what it is and just be the kind of person that can see all aspects of it without being a bad word about it. I want to say
Yeah.
And I think that if I'll say one thing real quick, JD, then I'll let you go. It's really easy to find trolls on the internet, guys, especially on Twitter. Like, take 3 seconds. If someone responds to you, look at their timeline, and you'll know if they're sincere in their criticism, or you'll know if they're a troll or not. I mean, that's it. And if they're a troll, just block them and move on. Find the people that actually want to talk about the game, because there's a lot of people that actually do. JD, go for it.
I mean, although I definitely do not agree that you should just write off anybody that dislikes Anthem as being a troll, I do kind of understand where he's coming from, at least in the respect that, like, Anthem has problems, and we've talked about them on the show. We've, again, we're not an echo chamber of positivity.
We lost you there for a second, JD.
Where are you at, buddy?
He like got swallowed in the echo chamber. The echo chamber became
the echo chamber positivity sucked him in.
He's just gone.
All right, well, we'll wait for JD to come back, and we can continue on here. So, little bit of news, and then we're going to make some calls to some of our community members that are waiting in the wings. We're going to let them ask us questions. We're going to ask them questions also. So real quick, Devon and JD, you were on the Hit Start Gaming podcast. You guys got to guest on their show. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's a group of guys.
Can you guys hear me now?
Hey, we can hear you now, JD.
All right.
Yeah, there's 3 of them. There was only 2 when we were there. It was a lot of fun. We chatted about a lot of different things, about us personally, history-wise, video games, that kind of stuff. And then we talked about Anthem for about a half hour, 40 minutes, something like that. And it was interesting. It was a lot of fun. I think, I'm not sure if they're putting it out this coming Friday, the 19th, or not.
Yeah, I think they spread it out.
Yeah,
They announced on Twitter earlier that they're releasing a different interview tomorrow, so it'll probably be either Monday or Friday of
so
next
you guys
week.
got bumped? That's harsh, man.
Well, they record multiple each week, so they do 2 podcasts. They release 2 podcasts a week.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We should start doing that. We should do 2 podcasts a week.
I don't know that we can handle that,
down?
Steven.
I don't know if we can.
So it'll be exciting. So everyone go check out Hit Start Gaming. You can find that on all your podcatchers and all that fun stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna kick this over to Devon. Devon, there is a storm in the live game. If you look out past Eastwatch, there's a storm out there.
Yep.
Is there a super
What
storm
is going on with the storm? I don't know if there is or not.
Nobody knows, right? So, I mean, there's stuff happening. Developers, community managers have responded that it's not a mistake, that there is stuff happening. It's not clear whether this is the start of the pre-cataclysm events. Based on my personal experience in the cataclysm, I would say if it is, then they're screwed. There's a lot of problems in the cataclysm still. You
Are
know,
you talking bug wise or?
yes, bug wise, balance. There's leaderboard issues. They fixed one in the last patch, but then created a new one. So you used to be able to glitch to get really high scores. You could just leave after you defeated the boss. Like on PC, you could just basically crash the game and leave and come back and join again, and it would start you over, and you'd keep all the score, and you could redo it, and you could do that over and over and over again to just boost.
And that's why people were getting 134 million points.
Like
on
168 million or whatever. And so they fixed that, but now if the game crashes, it puts you back into the cataclysm. But everything you've already completed, you can't do again, and your score is at 0. So, which is another problem, right? So
that's like a controller breaking problem.
it's like, hey, you did all this stuff, and the game
But it
crashed,
doesn't
and it puts you back in, gives you 15 fresh minutes to go and do stuff. But if you already opened something or defeated one of the what are they calling them?
Challenges.
Challenges. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I mean, it's not there anymore. So that's how they kind of defeated that, or there was their quick and dirty solution. I think they're gonna have to work on something better to actually fix the problem. They're trying to fix the problems and seeing if it works, and if it doesn't, obviously this one didn't quite work the way they wanted it to, so they'll need to fix that. They definitely helped the economy issues. Because it used to be like to buy one large crystal, you'd have to convert 1,000 crystals. Now you have to convert 500 crystals, right? So
Right. So they're working on a lot of that stuff, but as far as like
this storm,
cataclysm starting soon, because Kotaku even picked up the story that people are starting to see these changes, which really surprised me that someone from Kotaku is actually paying attention currently.
Yeah.
So they must have just going through the Reddit trying to see I mean, a lot of people are on the Reddit, they're wanting to see the dumpster fire that place is currently. So they're going to pick up on stuff like this, so that they're seeing that people are seeing changes, so something must be happening.
But nothing really is happening.
A couple days ago, they one of the challenges actually got launched early that said the cataclysm was going to start in 7 days. So people are reading into that. AJ said that was a mistake. That wasn't supposed to go live early. So then it's like, well, okay, is this tiny little storm out here, did that go live early? And they said, no, it's supposed to be there. So is this the precursor of the cataclysm? Which if it is, like, and no one's saying anything about it, like, hey, you're going to start seeing some changes out there, we're getting ready for the cataclysm, even a tweet like that, I think would be like, hey, getting people prepared. Maybe people that haven't played in a while would like to jump in and start gearing up if they want to push those leaderboards. But to not say anything is also very interesting to me.
I mean, we've had a lot of discussion about this in our Discord and with other people, and some people are like, oh yeah, this is the 2 week, 2 weeks is going, and I'm just like, I just don't see it. To me, there's no way they would, announce this in a live stream and say, yeah, there's going to be 2 weeks before the cataclysm. There's 2 week events to build up and prepare for the cataclysm, and then there's 6 weeks of cataclysm. There's no way they would do that and then just kind of soft launch it and hope people figure it out that this is starting. I mean, that's just dumb decision making if that's what's happening. And
Right.
Yeah.
I don't believe that that's what's happening. I think this is like, okay, we're putting some storm things out there. Things are kind of happening, and they should say, I mean, basically what you said, Steven, is, yeah, we're starting to put things in there. This isn't the start, of the pre-events for the cataclysm. This is just a storm just on the horizon, just kind of.
What'd you say?
I don't know.
The cataclysm.
The cataclysm. It's got clams.
That was weird. I'm going to cap that out and use that later.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. They should definitely talk about this, or not. I mean, or not is what they're doing now. So, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. And based off of personal experience in the PTS, it's not ready.
Well, but
I mean,
for
and-
for the main
Well, we're
event.
talking
So
about it,
it's.
so maybe it's doing what it's supposed to.
I mean, we're talking about it, but at the same time,
Okay.
people are thinking this
mean-
is it and this is happening, but it's not happening. So
So
Yeah,
I
don't
have a
think
question.
this is it,
yes,
but-
JD.
I mean, but something's changing. Sorry, JD.
Oh, well, like, so obviously, I don't know much about the details of the PTS because I can't play it, but I like, are they using like fairly recent builds for you guys to test in the PTS, or is it like maybe like one build behind, like several build behind?
There's
There's
Or
no way
no-
for us to know.
Yeah,
update
we don't know
No.
what build that it's on. They just update it
Okay.
every week. So
Okay, so for all we know, maybe the feedback that you guys have been giving in the PTS could be updating their most recent build of the game, the one that's supposed to go out.
it could be.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's
It
the
could be.
assumption.
I don't.
There's
I
definitely
don't. One would hope it is, especially if it has as many problems as you guys say.
Well, I mean, there's some issues that definitely need to get worked out, and I'm sure that they're aware of the game crashing issues that the PTS has. I doubt that there's any way that they will let it release with those in place, because this is, like we said before, this is kind of like, hey, this is your chance to shine. So I'm sure they're doing everything they can to make this thing launch in a good state. It's just very weird that we are seeing changes, and it's just confusing people that aren't like, hey, there's that Anthem game, something's
Yeah.
happening. Oh, look, there's a storm. Let me go in there and see what's new. Oh, the only thing that's new is that storm. If this is all that's new, I guess I'll see you later. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of like, hey, things are starting to change slowly. They have an Anthem game Twitter account for this very reason, I'm sure. Take a picture of it, put it out there. You're going to start seeing changes. Stop in every once in a while. This isn't the beginning of the cataclysm yet. You'll know when that happens, and then hey, call it a day. But we were talking about Sean Murray, who was the leader of Hello Games. They put out No Man's Sky. He was even talking about this same idea of, you know what? Sometimes it's better to not say anything than to try and control that and just work on the game. So maybe they're like, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We're not going to say anything till we're exactly ready for it to come out. And they're just kind of following this media, I don't even know what to call it, this strategy of just not saying anything until you're ready, which it might frustrate us now, but in the long run, because they have been working on it, maybe it'll be better for all of us. So, I mean, as much as we want them to tell us what's going on, maybe it's just better that they don't. And it sucks for us. I'm sure it sucks for them because they want people to know, but
Yeah.
and I mean, maybe that's just the strategy that they're going to follow, and we could beat that horse to death. But you know what? This is what they're going to do, and that's that. So I don't know if it's even worth talking about, them not saying anything anymore.
I don't know.
No.
But it's frustrating anyway.
Good
So
point.
all right, so I wanted to talk about a couple things in the Cataclysm, and so I was thinking as I was driving today, because I had a long time to drive, where that line is of us spoiling Cataclysm stuff for people, because I know there was actually a thread on the EA forum saying, hey, someone had posted some spoilers about these graviteers that you can earn in game. And I was like, well, I posted stuff online. Am I like really spoiling this for people? Because in my mind, I'm like, hey, look, everyone that doesn't have access to the PTS or who has gone away from the game, look at all this cool stuff that we're getting. Maybe it gets people interested.
Yeah.
But then I guess I
Yeah.
wasn't even really considering if that's like completely spoiling people on the game. And they're like, hey, spoilers. I didn't want to know that there was graviteers in this game until I earned it. So I'm just going to keep spoiling this stuff, except for the story, because I'm going to respect that people want to see the story for themselves. So I think we can talk about all the stuff in the Cataclysm,
Well, I mean,
just not touch anything on the story.
it's all out there. I mean, there's no stream ban or anything like that, so people stream it all the time, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's tough because you don't want to ruin it because it's fun when you get to play it. The things you get to play in the PTS, there's a lot of good content in there, and it's enjoyable, but you don't want to mess it up for other people. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know how you talk about it without talking about it. I don't.
I mean, we can just not talk about the story stuff. Like, all
Well, I
the
mean, that story stuff,
we-
yeah, that's fine. But there's just so much
Yeah.
else in there with the armor and all the gear and everything else.
I don't know. Is that,
Yeah,
is that a
but-
spoiler though?
Yeah,
I mean,
new
when
armor,
it's-
new weapon.
When those
unless
are
it's
like the main
story.
rewards, I'm guessing. it's kind of a spoiler.
Well,
but
I mean, I
don't know.
think the only thing we've said so far is there are new weapons. I hope that's not a spoiler.
Oh, I put all kinds of crap on Twitter. People
Of
like
course
my
you
stuff.
do.
We've been
See, this
posting.
is
We've
why
been
I'm not-
posting everything
yeah.
we see. That's why you're not on Twitter and you're not
That's
doing
why I'm
like
not on Twitter.
People
I'm
are
going
super excited for the Cataclysm armor.
dark.
Although it only works with the Colossus, another problem in the PTS.
So I actually don't think that's a problem, Devin. I think they're only offering the Colossus armor right now. I don't think it's offering.
I thought it says
because-
it's supposed to work for all of
I
your
thought
armor
it was a
on the
Ranger set.
description.
Like,
So it's-
didn't William
You-
from your
Devin, you
Anthem
talking
show
about
off a
those
Ranger
for
set?
Claw?
It's behind the vendor.
All right. So the way that it's worded, it says you get all pieces to form this set. Currently, they updated it today, and now it's not just an icon. It actually shows you it's just the Colossus set.
Yep.
So the Colossus armor is called the Shattered Armor. I'm guessing the Ranger is going to be something different. Interceptor and the Storm are going to have different names. So even though that wording made you think that, oh, you're going to get
Supposed to be for
every
all-
single suit,
Yeah.
I think the Shattered suit is only for the Colossus, and that's why
Oh, that's
you don't have
shenanigans.
access to any of them.
I'm
No,
sure
I
they'll
mean,
have the
yeah,
rest of them in there because
Just
we've
not
already
that much
we've
art.
already
That's
seen
why.
the art for it. It's already in the actual live service version of Anthem because people data mined it and you can see the image of them already.
Well, we also saw there was the
The trailer and stuff.
the web featurette. There was
Yeah.
something where they showed all the stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they showed the Ranger and the Interceptor stuff, and right now you can see the Ranger armor actually just standing behind the dude with 4 eyes. So there's that. So we're gonna have access to new armor. That and now it's gonna be even easier to get because they lowered the cost of our crystals that you're gonna be able to get from, like
Yeah.
you were saying, Devin, used to be 1,000 crystals, minor crystals to make a major crystal,
Well,
and then you needed
but then
5
not only-
major and
not
500.
only did they lower the price, but they also lowered our reward, didn't they?
No, they
No.
say that you're going to get the exact same number of crystal that you were before.
Well,
So you're
but
going
that's
to be
not
getting
true.
things.
But that's
No,
not
it
true
is
because
true.
Devin and I did a run, and our crystals were cut in half. You remember when we ran with William?
Yeah, that was so last week's update.
Or did that?
Yeah,
or did
so
that go back?
that happened last week at the update. So before, it used to be for every 500 points you got one crystal, and then they changed it to so the one where we got like 10,000 crystals for like 1,000,000 or whatever we got, that was at the old set of for every 500 points you get a crystal. So then after the update, it changed to for every 1,000 points you get a crystal, and so that's where it's still at currently. So the only way to get
So-
the 10,000 max
it's the
crystals is
same
to
ratio.
score like over 10 is to score 10 million points in the cataclysm.
But that's what I'm saying though. It's the same. It's the same ratio though.
It's
So
the
even
same
though-
ratio from the last 2 weeks. So
Yeah. So even though they cut the number, how many you need to create major from minor,
Mhm.
it's still gonna feel the same because you're getting half as many as you were before.
Well, and I think you actually earn them at a pretty good rate currently. I
It's
mean,
a
we
lot
can jump
better.
in after the show, and I don't. It doesn't feel like it's a grind to get like that armor. Like it was super easy to get up to that amount of crystals. So it's not going to be hard. It's not going to be hard to get that armor.
Yeah.
So like, and I think
If you
for
can't
me
read, it's gonna
personally,
be hard because I didn't read the
if you-
price.
if you can't read, it'll be very difficult, Mike.
hey,
So, and for me, that's like the draw of these events is like because I want to look cool at the end. But then in my mind, I'm like, well, if I can just get this super easy, like, is there anything else like giving me incentive to push the leaderboard or to get those high scores? Because if it's not, I mean, you could just go do a couple easy runs of the Cataclysm, not even try for the leaderboards, get the crystals, and then you can get everything that you want, which is okay for people that don't want to push those leaderboards. So I'm glad that they have that opportunity to say like, okay, I can put in my time that I have, get the thing I want, and then get out. But I also think there needs to be something for those people that want to push the leaderboards and put the time in to get up to that level. Because if there's not, if there's only a number at the end of the leaderboard, then I don't think that's a good enough incentive. Maybe it will be when it goes live to try and be number one. But to me, it feels like there still needs to be a carrot out there because currently there's not. For endgame, it's be on the leaderboard. And then for everything else, it's earn crystal to get the armor or get the different weapons. So hopefully we will see something in the future that's telling us, hey, for all you hardcore players, this is the carrot that you'll be chasing. For everyone else, this is a way for you to get the stuff that you want and get out and be done and not feel like you missed anything. So hopefully that'll be there. One thing, though, that we were all kind of excited about that we learned about recently is there actually is going to be a wood texture in the game now. They have it under leather. So we got our wood texture so we can have our wooden javelin. So that's going to be super exciting. I think when we got it, we put it on. Devon and I were playing with William, and William was like, "This just looks like elephant skin," but it's really hard to tell because he said something else, but I'm not. He said something different, but I'm not going to say exactly.
I burned him so good.
Oh, he said that.
Wait,
yeah,
you
we'll
guys
just,
got
we'll
it
just
already?
skip it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Devon actually got it.
Nice.
It didn't load up on
Hey,
mine. So
thanks for
there's a wooden
inviting me.
texture out there.
No, it's cool. Whatever. Just,
No, it's fine, Mike. We can teach you how to do it. So
I'm the
there,
one that
It
brought
was
it up.
it was on the night that you're like, oh, I'm leaving
If
after
anything,
one game.
it's all
It
mine.
was my idea at the beginning, but whatever. It's cool. I'm okay.
so
with
we'll talk about the
Okay.
challenges. So there are various challenges that you
Starting a
can do that'll
podcast, if
earn you
anybody in
graphics,
chat
that'll
wants to
earn
come.
you decals. Mike, is there like a mute button by your microphone? Can you see if that works? So
Would
there's
you
a
like
bunch
me
of
to push it?
challenges. There's a bunch of challenges that you can do in the Cataclysm that'll earn you a bunch of stuff. There's a way to get graviteers for all of the javelins, which we showed off on Twitter. Pretty cool. I mean, it's exciting to. I think you're supposed to go kill the Gravit King. That quest was bugged. There was a lot of bugs with the challenges. Hopefully they'll get those fixed up. There's a bunch of wraps. There's a bunch of decals. You can earn a bunch of coin. You can earn a bunch of shards just by doing various things. A lot of them are like, hey, don't kill anyone during this challenge. So if you do a bunch of those challenges, you go a complete pacifist run, there's an option for you to do that. So which you can do really easily if you just set it to easy and you can just fly through the challenges. So there's ways to do these things if you're not trying to push those higher tiers, which is fine.
Master
And
flight
so
stuff.
you have to master flight. So let's
Which
master
is pretty
flight.
hard because there's not a lot of waterfalls in.
It's true. So one of the things, though, I think that needs to be addressed currently, if you open a war chest and you are a interceptor main, you have a 75% chance, sometimes higher, to get something that does not apply to your javelin. Even though they lowered the amount of crystals that you got or the amount of crystal it costs to earn an item, there's still a 75% chance that you will not get something for your class. And that really sucks. So I would rather them leave the crystals at 1,000 and give me 100% chance to get something for my storm than to click that button and in my head say, man, I hope this is for the storm. Because right now, like I see the same thing that happened with the Elysian chests, that they have a good system out there and then they fill it with a bunch of stuff that makes it not fun and makes it frustrating. So EA wants to give us surprise mechanics, but it seems like we're getting frustrating mechanics out of these boxes. And I would rather them take that away. And especially because this event is only for 6 weeks after the pre-stuff, I do not want to spend that time getting items for javelins that if I'm trying to push this leaderboard, I'm going to push it with my top class that I play as, that I am getting new loot for, and not being like, well, I guess I got new loot for my Colossus. I guess I'll go use that, because that sucks. That's not fun.
No.
So,
and I mean, we kind of talked about this because I bought 20. So as soon as they dropped it, I bought 20 melee items. For 20 war chest melee items, and 17 of them were for the other javelins, not the interceptor, right? And which is really annoying. I got 3 legendaries, none of them for the interceptor, and
all for different classes.
Yeah, and it really sucks. And it's like, oh, I mean, that's cool that I'm getting that stuff for them, but I can go play them, and then I'm like, these are really cool. I wish I had legendary versions on my actual javelin that I would like to play and that I want to play. And so I really hate because it's been that problem for a long time, and the scale is I mean, it's okay when it was an occasion, but this happened how many, like 2-3 months ago, when they put it into the game where you could like start getting items where the waiting definitely changed, like for the gear or the components for the other javelins, and it sucks because you're like, oh, I got a legendary, and then you're like, oh, it's for a javelin I don't use.
I don't play very
And
often.
like
If-
in the PTS, I hadn't even unlocked any of the other javelins because I'm like, I'm not gonna play with the other javelins, but I would still get gear and items for them all the time, from everything. And so I was like, well, fine. I just keep getting legendaries and other items, excuse me, for these other javelins, so I'll go check them out. And some of them are really cool. They give you a lot of bonus damage and other things. One of the legendaries I got gave me plus 325% damage, from melee. Which,
nice.
but that's weapon damage. So you put that in your melee slot, and now your weapons are doing really good. So.
No, I think it was just for melee gear because it had the cog on it. It wasn't the
Did it
javelin.
have the cog
so
on
it
it?
should just
Okay.
apply.
I don't know.
It should just apply to that gear piece.
I'd have to look at the picture. But anyways, I mean,
Anyways.
it's good stuff. But it's like I don't really care about melee for a ranger. I care about melee for an interceptor.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's cool that they have this stuff, but it's just really frustrating. And it was especially frustrating when I was spending, 1,000 crystal to buy a major crystal, and then I was buying all these, and I would buy 10 and get one item. The only time it was like, so I stopped buying any of the gear and everything war chest and only bought the weapon ones because at least on the weapons, I knew I could actually use every single thing I got. So if I got a legendary, I could still use it versus the gear items. I'm like, I don't even want to buy them because it's wasting my time that I've put into the game to get those crystals. And it's not enjoyable at all to get items for javelins that I don't want to play. And one of our Discord members was like, well, maybe they're trying to help, kind of push that direction. And it's like, if that's what they're doing, I don't want any part of it because I hate when the games are like telling me how I have to play the game. And, they're supposed to say, oh, you need to customize and you can do all these other things. But when you're forcing me to do that, then it just makes me push further away and not want to play that game.
And the beginning of Anthem, it was play the way you want to with the class you want to. John Warner said, we don't want you to have to fit a role. We want everyone to be able to play whatever role they want. And in order to do that, I want to play the Storm. I don't want to play the Colossus.
Yeah.
So I want gear for what I'm playing. I mean, and I think it's compounded because really most people aren't going to get all this crystal and go like, hey, I'm going to go buy one thing at a time and go do something. It's like we stack this up and we're like, okay, let's see what I get out of 10 boxes. So each time that hits, it's a little bit more discouraging. Each time you hit the button to where it's frustrating, and then you're just angry about it. One thing that, shoot, his name just escaped me. He was the Hearthstone developer and the voice of God at BlizzCon, Ben Brode. So Ben Brode, they would do a lot of talks and development talks on Hearthstone, and they always use the term feels bad mechanics. And this is one of those feels bad mechanics that you don't want in your game because you don't want people to play your game and feel bad about it. This is the same feeling I had with the Elysian chests. Same reason I stopped even grinding for those. Phaedron's in the chat. Phaedron got every single thing out of the Elysian chests. And I don't know how you push through that, but it's frustrating. And then like Alaska Grizz, it's true. And like Alaska Grizz says in the chat, there's not enough vault space for all that, because now you're collecting for 4 different javelins and not just one. So you know what we should do? We should call Phaedron. We should ask him how he feels about all this stuff. You guys talk, and I'm gonna get Phaedron on the line.
Bring him up. Bring him in. Longtime friend Phaedron to the show.
mean,
We're gonna bring him in. We're gonna humiliate him on the show.
JD, what you
Sorry,
got?
JD, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I could see, them leaving some percentage in, of like getting them to, parts for other javelins because they want you. I mean, I would, if I were a developer, I would want to encourage the players to, play all the javelins, but to have it like,
hey, hold on, sorry, JD. Phaedron, are you there? I think I can hear you. Can you?
We can't.
We can't.
Yep. You guys can't hear Phaedron?
Nope.
Cannot hear him.
Keep
This
going,
is one of
JD.
those things-
JD, going back to your point, why do you want us to play?
for the same reason why you guys as parents would get your kids to try new things that they are otherwise opposed to. Sometimes they may not like it until they try it. I mean,
That-
Vegetables keep them alive. Playing a Colossus will not matter if my kid lives or dies.
I mean, yeah, but you understand what I'm saying.
I
Like,
understand, and I don't like it. Right,
like
JD?
maybe they think fruit. Maybe they think what is it? A particular movie looks dumb, and then they actually sit down and watch it, and they actually love it. I mean, it was like that for me when I was like like for me and my dad with The Exorcist. Like I thought it looked way too scary, and then I watched it with my dad, and I thought it was awesome. You know.
So the problem with that analogy though, JD, is that kids inherently have like their blank slates. They don't know what they like. As
Okay,
players and as gamers, we've been around long enough. We know what we like. There are people who like to
100%
float.
the same. Like there's
No, well, but it is because again we have so many games under our belt that we know what playstyle we like. We know what kind of weapons we like. We know what kind of our roles are based on our personality. We could do all kinds of stuff. Kids don't know who they are yet. We as parents we don't know who our kids are yet.
then let's forget the analogy for a second and then just go back to like okay, like mages in video games. Like mages in video games play wildly different depending on the series. I don't like some of them. I greatly enjoy others. The whole thing is that like if it wasn't for the fact that there were achievements to encourage me to play the various origin stories in Dragon Age Origins, I would have never played a mage in Dragon Age Origins, and I would have never found out how much I enjoyed playing a mage in that series. It's just the concept of don't knock it till you try it. You know, sometimes like just because you don't usually like the rogue type class doesn't mean you won't enjoy the interceptor. I mean, like the whole thing is it's not a one-to-one comparison. In fact, you know, like the Colossus in terms of like most tanky classes that I prefer to play, you know, feels a little underwhelming because it takes a lot of modification and the right gear to make your Colossus sufficiently tanky. So it's not a one-to-one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna follow that analogy and say now you're opening all these chests. You want that Colossus build to be good. That's what you want to play, and you get an interceptor melee, and you get a ranger component, and you get a storm, whatever. You know, so that's that feel bad mechanic that Steve's talking about. That
Yeah,
you're
I'm not
trying
saying that the
to
chances
build
should
that.
be equal for all four at all times.
What
I'm not
example?
saying that. What I
I
am
definitely
saying though,
think they should be weighted more for the javelin you
yes,
equipped at that time.
yeah, I could see it like if it was like you know like what is it
What did you do, Steven?
Did we lose you again?
Now we can't hear JD again.
Oh darn it!
I would say in defense of JD, right? So, like, I can
I don't
understand.
think anybody's attacking JD, so I don't know.
No,
if
in
he's
defense of his
And-
side, right, or perspective, I would say like so when I played Diablo 3. So this is the difference where I think it really works to encourage you to play other classes, like when there's actual classes and specific play styles, right? Like right now, I mean, all there is different looking javelins with a couple different abilities. It's not a specific playstyle. It's not a specific class. But in like Diablo 3, I was like, oh, I just want to play up close and personal all the time, and so I'd pick that class. And then as we played through more seasons, I was like, well, I don't want to play the same character, and so we would switch every season, and it gets you out of that comfort zone of this is what I only want to play this class. And then as I was playing other classes, I'm like, oh, I really like this class, and it's fun to play that class. But I think that only works when there's very specific classes for you to play and to choose from. Whereas right now it's kind of, you know, they're non-binary javelins, and they don't have a choice. You know, there's no specifics.
guy.
There's no specifics. They can be whatever they want, and it's just weird. Like, you know, and they're trying to force me into being a specific thing, and I don't want that.
But I don't know if I feel it being a force thing is maybe a broken equation thing. I have a hard time believing that out of 20 chests,
Yep.
17 for items that were for a javelin that you didn't have equipped was the correct equation.
Yeah, I'd be much more
so the
comfortable if it
problem
was
I'm thinking
opposite.
that's right.
So
The problem is
Exactly.
all your analogies are terrible. All you guys are wrong.
Let me
So
mute
when
Steven
we talk
here.
when we
Hold on
talk
a
about
second.
Diablo, so when we talk about Diablo, it's because it's set up in a season. It's set up specifically to where you can change classes. Right now in Anthem, it is not. Anthem doesn't have that. It's like, you know what? If you want to play this class, there's a 75% chance that you will not get an item for your javelin. And I don't care which way you cut it, which way you slice it, how you paint that picture, how much mayonnaise you put on it. That sucks.
Mayonnaise is gonna be a lot of people in here.
So Phaedron, how's it going, man? Can you hear us?
Can't hear
Phaedron.
Can't hear
Well,
him.
no one can hear him. No one can hear him because I don't know why we can't hear him. He says he's there. Let's see. I'm gonna turn on Phaedron, send chat message. So I think we beat that to death. I think it needs to be addressed no matter what before the game goes live. We can all agree on that, correct? No matter what is happening with
Yes.
it.
I'm fine
I
with
would agree with
that
Yeah.
stuff, but it needs to be better.
You're fine with a broken.
No, I'm
loot
fine with that. They would have that, once or twice in there. Like what I'm saying, like it should be the opposite, where maybe out of 20 you get
Exactly.
a couple items. Maybe even if it was
Yeah.
like a fourth of the items could be for other javelins, but it should be a majority
No, I think
for
a fourth
your.
The percentages should be adjusted.
I think a fourth is too high.
Oh come on!
No, it should be 100% for the javelin that you're using. Okay,
I would
because it is so easy to be like,
All right, I'm going to cut you off there,
go-
Steven. It's time to move on.
No,
Next
I'm
up.
going to tell you one thing. This is a solution because we come here with
Do you have a
solutions,
mute
right?
button?
I do have a move. We come here with solutions. So this is a very easy solution to the problem. If I want to buy something for my Storm, I will go buy 2 chests for the Storm. If I want something for the Colossus, then I will just swap to my Colossus and go buy it. There's no barrier to that. So if I want to start collecting on my Colossus, everybody can do that.
Hey, Steve,
There's like nothing prohibiting anyone from doing that.
we can't make it that simple. I mean,
No, it is that simple. It's already in the game that you can just swap. Okay. Since we can't seem to get Phaedron in here, he says he's able to talk to us, but it is not working. I'm not sure, Phaedron. We'll have to figure it out.
It's technical errors on Steven's side.
Chris says, "Wait, you can swap your javelins?" Yes, you can swap javelins.
You can. It's
See,
not
and that's the
necessary.
thing.
He's just been using the Ranger since the start.
And a lot of people
And that's okay.
do that. And it sucks if you main one javelin and then 75% of the stuff you get doesn't go towards it. Okay, so next thing I want to do, because I think we've talked about that to death, I actually have a quiz for you guys. So I'm going to set up this quiz.
Oh
so
man, it's been so long.
quiz for duck. Quiz for duck.
So I'm going to set up this quiz first. I don't know why this is not working because we really wanted to pull a bunch of people in here to talk to them. And for some reason, we were not able to get Phaedron in there. So we're going to have to figure this out, Phaedron, but we will catch you. We'll figure it out, and then we'll have it up and ready for the next show. So these are those technical difficulties that we're just going to have to work with. All right. So funny thing about this quiz, guys, this quiz actually comes from the Anthem Codex. So I'm sure you guys have all read this because you guys have all devoured the Codex like I have, and you guys have already figured this out. So this is what you guys need to do. Hold on, someone's sending me a message. It's Mike. Let's see, Mike, you son of a. Hey, Mike, that's not cool. All right, so this is what you're going to do. I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions, and you're going to keep track of your answers, and we're going to tell you what famous Legion of Dawn freelancer or legionary you are. Okay. So
It
this
like a
was
personality
actually
test.
this is a personality test that is actually in the Anthem Codex. All right.
Nice.
So which Legion of Dawn member are you? Answer these questions to find out. Okay. So
Okay.
JD, you there? You JD got all quiet because I told him he uses too much mayonnaise.
What?
Okay, JD's there.
When did you say
All
that?
right. So question number 1: how do you like your tea? Is it A, hot, B, cold, C, in a mug plated in ember and hope, or D, with chimeric compound like mother used to make it? So you guys have to choose one of those.
We supposed to write this down to try and remember all these, or
I'll write it down. You just tell me.
hey,
So A, hot,
Phaedron's in here.
cold.
He's in the video, but we can't hear him still.
There he is. What's up, Phaedron? Unmute yourself, bro.
Are you on mute?
Dude, you look like you have a newborn. Apologize for that, but it happens.
So for this audio podcast, Phaedron has joined us, but is unable to communicate. We don't know why. So,
We need to put up another
Technology, we're pretty good at
screen,
it.
subtitles.
Promise.
We're so-
all right, Phaedron, we'll figure it out later. Thanks for popping in, man.
Thanks for jumping
Good luck
in,
with
man.
that, baby.
Appreciate
Hey guys, it's me, Adrian.
All right, so how do you like your tea?
Why
A,
does he
hot,
sound
B,
like
cold,
Grover?
C, in a mug plated in ember and hope, or D, with chimeric compound like mother used to make it? This is where you guys answer.
Because those are our only options. I'm gonna say cold.
All right, Mike likes it cold.
I
Devin,
like
how do you like it?
With chimeric compound?
Obviously, who else would choose anything different?
Obviously.
JD?
Such a Nancy.
Oof. I mean, I don't really drink tea at all.
You're not
so-
signing a mortgage, JD.
I know. It's just that I don't drink tea.
Neither do we. What is it?
All right. I guess,
Oh, okay, then
you
fine.
can't answer
Warm.
this question
Warm.
then.
Warm.
Oh my gosh,
Fine.
that's a cool. All right. Question number
It's
2.
just a funny thing, JD. It's okay.
You find an open wallet on the ground. What do? A,
Take all the money
put it.
and run.
That's not. Shut up.
Oh.
Put its voice into a weapon. B, pick it up, count how much money is inside, and plan how to spend it. C, connect to it through a gateway and spend the money on kebabs for your friends. Or D, close it just in case something nasty lurches out of it.
What was the first option?
Put its voice into a weapon.
A wallet?
The wallet has a
You-
voice?
You guys would understand this reference if you read the Codex.
Listen to the leather.
That's an Arcanist thing, man.
So
I'm
Helena
gonna go with D.
All right, Devon's going to go D. He's going to close it. Helena Tarsis actually fought Fulminus on the mountain, destroyed him, and put his voice in the weapon, and that's how she got her sword.
Nice. Then I'm
Yep.
gonna go with put its voice in a weapon.
As
A
you
wallet
should.
weapon.
As
The
you
weapon
should.
of Wallets.
The weapon walls. JD.
I don't remember what it was, but I'm going to say C.
All right, JD says C. Take forever to decide on what you want to do with the wallet. Very good. Number 3, if you could have
Can buy
special
kebabs.
powers, what would they be? The ability to visit places after my death, endless stamina to, I know what I would do with endless stamina. Face my enemies to the ends of the earth.
You
I don't
are
need special
such
powers.
an
I know
idiot.
how to, I am reading these questions. You be quiet. I don't need
Oh.
special powers. I know how to manipulate Ember. Or D, consult with loved ones after they've died.
Oh man.
I'm gonna go with D. No, wait, C.
Devon's gonna go with the D. Oh, C. I mean,
Steven,
late. It's really late, Mike.
It's
not
a
even
family
that
show.
D.
Mulehorn picked F. All right.
Of course,
Heather.
of course he did. Yeah.
Pick a number,
Blow
Mike.
things up.
There's no blow things up on here.
So I don't remember what they were. So B.
B, endless stamina, just like I
Oh.
picked.
Oh,
JD?
Lost him again. JD.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna pick for JD for the love of
JD.
Helena Tarsis.
I
Oh
put
my
I
God.
put in the text chat that nobody reads. I choose D because my audio's cut out.
Steven doesn't look at the screen.
JD, if you know that no one reads the text chat, why would you put it in the text chat?
Because sometimes people do.
I
I
saw it.
couldn't-
I just didn't
I
want
couldn't
to say
tell you
anything.
otherwise.
All right, JD chose D. All right, so thank you for playing this game.
Mulehorn
All right, so
says
now we're
B
gonna
is
figure-
not the obvious option because I got 4 kids.
That's what I'm saying, Lupo. I say wow also. Okay, I don't know what happened to this show anymore, but we're gonna
Mike
just go with
didn't
All right,
derail
listen
it.
up.
Steven
Listen up.
derailed the
This
show.
is what
Okay,
happens.
so-
Talk about Anthem.
Just listen, and I'm going to tell you your letter, and then you remember your letter. So Mike picked B, A, and B. All right, Mike. So your answer is B. Devin picked D, D, and C. So Devin, you're a D. You're a D. JD is A, C, and D. So JD, we're going to call you A. All right. So here we go. If you picked mostly A, you are General Helena Tarsis. You are a visionary leader who isn't afraid to kick butt and take names. You work well with others. know how to settle conflict, and leave a lasting impression. All right. If you picked mostly B, you are Magnus Strahl. You are driven, determined, and are not afraid to disagree. You have no qualms about using dangerous situations to your advantage and will not stop until you finish the job. Let's see. If you picked mostly C, Mike's got a light show going on over at his place. He's got like a rave going on. If you picked mostly C, you are Arden Vasa. You are a mastermind who sees the possibilities in everything. You have a nurturing personality. You enjoy architecture and long hikes. So there you go. And D, if you picked mostly D, you are Mitteron. Nothing makes you happier than family traditions and a good time with your best friends. You enjoy physical exercise, life in the great
Obviously,
outdoors.
I enjoy physical exercise. Obviously.
Obviously.
So that quiz can be found in the Anthem Codex. Yeah, I was really surprised because the writing in the Codex varies from like super serious to the very comical, like parody of a lot of the stuff that we have in our world. So I thought it was very interesting. So I thought it'd be a fun to do that little quiz there. So Julius,
You
we
thought
did
wrong.
talk about. I thought it was hilarious.
It was pretty
in
funny.
fact, so.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So Julius, we did talk about the wooden texture that you can get in the game, and hopefully this has opened up for more opportunities for more textures to come out. Because currently, I think it's called ebony wood, and it's actually a leather texture.
Yep.
So I'm guessing there will be more in the future. Also, they finally realized that hey, we can use wood as a texture because really, I mean, textures are the coolest thing that we have in the game. So. All right. So Julius said William's song. I haven't heard William's song, so. We'll have to, I don't know what that is. I'll have to go listen. We'll have to bug William. So, guys, that is the main topics for episode 95 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. We are kind of excited and waiting. Phaedron keeps coming in and out. So, Phaedron, we'll eventually get this thing working, I promise. If you like what we do, I don't know how you're still here, but I appreciate everyone in the chat. We have a lot of people in the chat, so shout out to the chat.
Yeah.
Shout
Thanks
out
for
to
subscribing,
Julius.
Ray. Up.
Let's see. Shout out to Tiffany's in the chat. So first time tuning in. So hey, it's Tiffany. We've got.
She's like, well, I can
Mulehorn
never
in here.
tune into this again.
I was like, I will never listen to this show again. But I mean, if you listen to us for 95 episodes, I mean, you kind of know what you're getting into, right? I mean, this is why
We're not coming in here surprised.
we enjoy doing it. Alaska Grizz is hanging out over on Mixer with us with a bunch of other people. So guys and gals, we really appreciate it. I mean, we've been doing this for a really long time, and it makes it so much easier and so much more fun when you're here enjoying it with us. So we really, really appreciate it. If you want to support us, you can do that at Freelancer Codex or patreon.com/Freelancer Codex. I mean, if you throw a buck our way, I mean, you get 4+ hours of awesome content per month. I mean, that's like 25 cents for an hour of content. You can't get that deal anywhere else. And we don't have any frustrating mechanics here. It's all surprise mechanics here on the Freelancer
Surprise,
podcast.
this works this time, not next time.
Yeah, so if you have questions, shoot us an email. You can drop us a line at the number that we talked about earlier that we'll post in the comments or the show notes. But until next time, freelancers, there's a Shaper Storm on the horizon. We don't know if it's soon. We don't know if it's a precursor to what is actually going to be happening. But
there's something out there.
A Shaper Storm on the horizon.
The truth is out there.
See you on the other side.
Peace. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter at Freelancer Codex, on Facebook at Freelancer Codex, or through email at freelancercodex@gmail.com. Join the Discord through the link provided at freelancercodex.com. Our show will always be free, but if you'd like to send some support, you may do so at patreon.com/freelancercodex. Our individual Twitter handles are at Stephen Lamson, at mlamson25, at Neverfear, and at JD the Joke Dealer. Freelancers, it's time to get to work.
Devon, keep it running. I'm gonna stop the recording, but we can hang out and talk with people.
Even Steven.
Oh, you already logged off. Devon, did you already log off on YouTube? Oh, it's not letting me post a link in there. Let's see. Let me try here. www.freelancercodex.com. So let's see. Ray up, you can go to freelancercodex.com and there's links to the podcast there. Or you can just search Freelancer Codex on any of your podcatchers and it will show up. Let's see, what else? So I think
So we got to get this figured out how to bring people in, huh, Steve?
Can you guys hear me now?
Successfully. Hey! Whoa!
He
Hey,
was,
I got in after the show. That's great.
he was muted. I don't believe it.
Well, no, I wasn't muted. I think what happened was that I was, Steven answered the call on Discord, and then I was trying to get on this, but I hadn't hung up on the call from Discord or something. I don't know. Never.
Gotcha.
Okay, that checks out.
Gotcha.
All right,
I'm in-
Adrian. So
I'm on
we're
my
gonna
phone.
we're gonna continue. You're just like getting away from the baby. This is like your one time, dude. Like I've gotta go.
Bro, I don't have any live.
All right.
That's
So
funny.
Phaedron, somehow you managed to collect everything in the Elysian chest. Was that like on purpose or what?
Okay, so this was like my last hurrah before the kid was born, right? So
Right.
it was kind of one of those things like I don't play a lot of games every year. I pick like I'm gonna like just sink all my time into, and Anthem was one of those ones that obviously like the rest of us we planned on doing. And so I just consumed every bit of content that I could until the baby was born, and then I haven't touched Anthem for like 2 months, and I just got back on and started playing a little bit. So as far as the Elysian chest go, I mean, it was just that was the last thing that I could do, because I played about, I don't know how many hours you guys have played in the live game, but I've been up to like, I don't know, 320 something hours. It's not a ton, but it's a lot, you know? I don't know. Where are you guys at?
I'm
That's
at
a lot.
250.
Okay, it's a lot. Okay.
You're only
right,
at
right.
240,
And
Devon?
and you guys know, like, because he always plays on the PCS.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. You have and there's
but
all that time that didn't get calculated for you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, that was like what I wanted to do, and I wanted the breakdance emote, and I didn't get it, and so I kept going and going and going, and it was like one of the last things I got for the interceptor. So because of I agree with Steven. Like, there's a bunch of crap in there, and it is like a feel bad mechanic rather than a feel good mechanic. But I just felt like FOMO was so strong if I didn't get the like the epic stuff. Whereas I think if they would have made those chests just be full of stuff that you actually want rather than material and like other stuff, then it would have been more rewarding. I don't know. I got lots of thoughts about the main game, but
yeah, and I think more people actually would have jumped in to play the game if there was, because really you had to do what, maybe like 60 runs to get everything, but then they added all that other stuff, and it seemed like every time we would go in, it was material to the point where I'm like, I don't even care. I'm not going to do this because it's frustrating.
Well, and it was overwhelming too because of the timed mechanic, right? So
Right.
I remember the shows listening to Mike say, well, if I play every day from now until whatever, maybe I can get all of them or whatever, right? And then that's what stresses me out about the Cataclysm too, because of the timed event. And now that you guys are saying that the economy isn't terrible and you'll be able to get the armor and the stuff that you want, which is good. But the feeling of enjoying new content in the game, but also having the, I guess, urgency of FOMO, like, feeling of missing out. I don't know how I feel about that, and I wanted to ask you guys what you guys thought.
So I guess I'll answer since these guys are thinking. So the fear of missing out, like for me.
Oh, Steven. So there is that fear of missing out on stuff in it, and you do want to get in and grind, but it's for me, there's got to be positive payout to time invested. I can't just save it all to the end. Like I need to have those little nuggets when I'm going along to kind of keep me invested.
Yeah.
And there is that fear of missing out on stuff. I remember throwing it back to Destiny. I mean, that's why I played as much as I did, was to try to keep up with Devon, to feel like for fear of getting behind. And
Right.
at that time, it was because we were building for a raid.
Yeah.
But for here, I don't feel a fear of missing out because I don't know if there's anything to miss out on currently.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't play the PTS. I've hopped in a little bit here and there, but I just haven't had time with the new baby. So I've basically been spending time in the live game when I do, because I'm thinking whenever the Cataclysm does launch, I want to at least, be ready for whatever challenge is there. So I figure, I'll listen to you guys talk about it, and then I'll play my main javelin or whatever. But the funny thing is, I find myself when I do a stronghold, like I get depressed that the Elysian chests aren't there, even though like I don't care anymore. But at least it was something to chase. Does that make sense?
Right.
Even though it was a bunch of garbage. And I think we all kind of feel that way, because like you do the stronghold now and you're just like, man, it's like the game's gotten worse, even though I didn't like the Elysian chests. But yeah, I mean, that was, I guess that was my main incentive, just to see if I could get, basically my goal was to get all the epic items, like all the purple items, right? I wanted that cool decal. Sorry guys, decal. I wanted that cool decal. I'm sorry. Come on. Okay, I wanted that cool decal, and I wanted all the emotes and the arrival animations, right? So, and it's like, I swear, some people got them right away, and mine were at the very end. And to be honest, had I gotten all that stuff, I would have pieced out way early on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, but I don't want to make you guys stay later than you have to. So,
No, you're good, man.
Stay here all the time.
You're good.
You're good.
But yeah, good job, guys. Good shows. You guys been going forever. Congrats on what, 95?
95.
Episode 95. We're headed off for episode 100, I believe. As far as I know, since this isn't live, we can tell just the people that are here, in case anything falls through. So Ben is actually going to join us for episode 100.
Oh, cool. That's a way good deal, man.
Ben,
yeah, that's on the.
Cut it out now. Cut it.
So there's 4 people who got it.
Cut the feed.
Yeah.
That's
Fair enough. Yeah, so that'll be on the 22nd.
Okay, cool. That's really cool. And I really appreciate, like, I haven't been able to keep up with the game, so I listen to you guys, and that keeps me informed of what's happening. So it's been a good time.
I hope we can keep you informed. Mainly, I don't know.
No, you guys totally do.
Hopefully, people are informed on what's going on.
No, you are. I mean, the Cataclysm's still confusing to me. I don't know it's like there's a boss and everything's blue and it's not blue, and you fly places, and there's a Gravit King. Is that the boss? No, it's not. Like, I don't know. Like, see, that's literally, I haven't spent any time researching it, as you can tell. I kind of want to go in dark, but I don't know. I'm actually currently making a YouTube video about my thoughts on Anthem and where I think it should go from here. Obviously, it's not going to happen the way I want it to, but it's so funny because my wife, she's a big gamer nerd. She's way into Final Fantasy, and she's done this before. And so I'm like, hey, while it's maternity leave right now, I'm working. I'll come home and I'll say, hey, I want to write the script. I want to do this video, and I've got all these thoughts and stuff. And I don't want to be like, you talk about the echo chamber of positivity. I've got criticisms for it, but I'm super in on the game. Like, I've had so much fun with Anthem, and yes, it has its problems.
Mike, did you just cut Phaedron off? Did you just mute him when he was mid?
It's just there's no game that feels like it, you know?
There he is.
And you guys
No,
know that.
yeah, and I completely agree. It's like just because you like something doesn't mean you don't know or can't see the problems, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Mike's been
Yeah.
married for almost 12 years, so if his wife can do it and see all the I don't understand why we all can't. I really
Why
like
not,
that
right?
bottle that you have, Mike. That's a really cool bottle that you have there. So, yeah, we'll have to play again sometime,
Yeah,
Phaedron.
man.
It was always
It's true.
fun hanging out with you. So,
Yeah,
all
you
right,
guys are great. Thanks for everything.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
no problem,
Phaedron.
man.
Talk to you guys later.
all
Hey, no
right. Good
sweat.
luck.
See you guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Let's see. Mute me, ban Phaedron. Let's see. Any questions from the chat? Jules says, I read some of it, but yeah, I'm with Mule on that one. So Mule and Jules are talking about the story. So what do you guys think so far about the story? I remember JD being like, oh, the Anthem story is going to be the best story we've ever had in the world.
PTS story or main games?
I think just in general. I mean, we're not gonna spoil PTS story. So, have you guys spent any time reading the Codex?
All
I
of it.
spent a little bit.
I did that quiz on my own last week. I've read more Codex than you have. Really, I know all of it.
Cool.
It is unlikely.
I mean, there is a lot of interesting stories. Just interesting how they choose or what they choose to say in the Codex. There's over 400 entries, and I haven't gotten to all of them because I'm rewriting everything so I can put it into a database that's searchable. So I've been able to go through a lot of it, and there is a lot of minutia in there. There is shopping lists, there are laundry lists, there are letters from grade children to the governor.
Passenger manifests.
There's passenger manifests. There's just so much in there, and there is some really cool story stuff. There's a story about the faithful. There was an outpost that during the time of the Legionnaires, they stayed to cover the retreat of the people of Bastion, and they all died, but they stayed there to cover their retreat. So there's some really cool stuff in there. It takes a long time to read through it all because there is so much. So hopefully people can take the time to get in there. But
Ray
I'm excited for more.
The story is so dope. Can't wait for more of it.
Yeah, I'm excited to get the rest of it. So, and there's still going to be a lot more to come. Hopefully, I mean, we know that there are other worlds that people have come from. We know that Aunt Cardea had been in some sort of stasis for years. So, I mean, there's just endless possibilities of what they can do. So, it'll be interesting to see.
It will be, and there's lots of cool things. There's lots of cool little things in it too that make it fun. With what's his name splitting 3 ways, that was kind of fun, and so it makes it fun. The world could be awesome. Oh, what's his name?
Oh, Matthias. See,
Summer
and this is
Matthias, and then
Summer, Maddie, and so this is kind of interesting because it has been so long since you've been able to interact with a lot of those characters that it almost feels like those characters are no longer in the game because you don't talk to them at all.
Nope.
Like, and it does feel like they're dead.
Well, except for because you get missions from the Arcanists, so you get to talk to at least one of them. It is, but
So it's like when the ride gets stopped at Disneyland.
yeah.
And everyone's mileage will vary. So,
Yeah.
we're right on chat. We appreciate you guys hanging out. We're going to get this thing figured out to where we can have people call into the Discord. It was working before. Maybe it was just Phaedron that couldn't get it to work, but we'll blame it on Phaedron. How about that? But I think we are going to sign off. I think, should we go do a Cataclysm run? Should we do that? We should do that. Look at your
I
clock,
like it.
Devin. You got time for one, and then we'll go open up a bunch of Ranger boxes for you. So, all right, chat. We'll catch you guys later. Have a good night.
Peace.
Strong alone, stronger together. I think I have to push a button.